Good afternoon, Victoria. Have you ever heard of that poem by Robert Frost called The Road Not Taken?
Of course, that poem is so deep. What does it have to do with NASA missions?
I have comprised a new mission called Methane. The Frost is the road not taken. It was made to answer three important questions. How can methanotrophs help stabilize climate change specifically in the Arctic, which has a greater impact on climate change, permafrost or ocean temperatures? And what harmful effects does methane CH4 have on the environment? Good afternoon, Victoria. Have you ever heard of that poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost?
Oh, that sounds like a great way to try to combat climate change. Does it relate to the NASA Science Mission Directorate?
This mission directly connects to the Science Mission Directorate sector pertaining to the Earth and specifically climate variability and change, carbon cycle and ecosystems.
I don't know about you, but every day I feel like it's getting warmer outside. Even when I go to Alaska for vacation, I feel warm. I wonder how fast climate change is on the rise? What exactly is the goal of this mission?
I know. Canada was like beach weather last time I went. The goal of MFRNT is to decrease the amount of greenhouse gases emitted from thawing permafrost and the ocean. This will make sure the ocean can store more carbon and balance the temperature of the ocean.
Samir, this sounds like a tremendous mission that I give my stamp of approval. Why don't you go talk to some members of my management team to discuss some more details of MFRNT?
It's nice to meet you, Ween. My name is Samir, founder of MFRNT.
Hello, Samir. So tell me about where you gained inspiration for this mission, such as past missions here at NASA.
I really carved this one out of the ground using the Mission Carve, a mission that tests the relationship between Arctic carbon reservoirs and global warming. It collects and measures the amount of greenhouse gas emissions in regional areas of the Alaskan Arctic. These greenhouse gases include carbon and methane, which get emitted when permafrost in Arctic areas thaw. It was from this mission that I gained the understanding of the harmful effects of methane on the environment. I also used the mission SMAP, a soil moisture orbiting observatory that measures the amount of water in the top 2 inches of the Earth's surface. Instead of using the soil from SMAP, I decided to focus on the ocean using methanotrophs that have the potential to oxidize ocean matter and decrease temperatures of oceans and better understand the carbon cycle.
Wow, Samir. You better SMAP into action with this mission. Get it? SMAP? Snap? I'm so funny. It's nice to meet with you, Samir. My name is David Grimes, President of the World Meteorological Organization. I got your email earlier regarding the advisory board and it would be my pleasure to serve. Who else do you have in mind?
Mr. Grimes, you really amp up the meter and meteorological ha ha ha. Other advisory board members will include representatives from all countries surrounding the Arctic Ocean, such as Iceland, Finland, and Russia. The UNEP Climate Change Chair, NASA Carve Mission Manager Bullock, SMAP Chief Engineer Mr. Abid, and Chair of the NOAA Office of Satellite Product Operations, will all be present alongside you.
Fantastic group of people there. I have also heard of recent research from Stanford University investigating climate and environmental change in the Arctic Pacific shelves or ice caps, as well as the University of Maryland, who all receive NASA grants.
Sir, you're blowing me with information from that high-speed fan and fantastic. We will also be assisting Germany's International Climate Initiative that strives for awareness and causes of global climate change. Some organizations that will use results from MFRNT are the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and Committee on Earth Observation Satellites.
Are you iron blowing in the wind? Because you are just breezing through all this. This is obviously going to be a very productive mission.
Hello, Samir. Hope you had a nice time talking to Mr. Grimes. He sure is anything but grim. Ha ha ha. I wanted to ask you what kinds of data is going to be collected from Mission MFRNT, and how.
Victoria, don't you worry. I'm going on a date with all my amazing data collecting instruments. The first is an infrared camera and spectrometer technology included in the payload. that will collect measurements on freeze and thaw state, temperature, and soil moisture, as well as carbon dioxide, methane, and oxygen levels. The aspect of bioremediation within the MFRNT mission will be done using a piece of technology that will be temporarily installed into the ocean in permafrost. It will disperse the methanotrophs through a process called biodegradation. This process will degrade the oceans and permafrost with methanotrophs, which will then oxidize the methane into carbon. This mission will be using a C-23 Sherpa aircraft to carry payload, which will include remote sensing technologies. The aircraft will also have an infrared camera and a spectrometer to get measurements of the ocean and permafrost greenhouse gas emissions. A new piece of technology will be used in this mission, which will disperse the methanotrophs into the oceans and permafrost. There will be technology temporarily installed into the ocean and permafrost that will have biodegradation capabilities.
Samir. I'm looking at the next Sheldon Cooper here. You truly put the big in the Big Bang. Ha ha ha, I love that show. One more big thing. This data is relevant because by placing the methanotrophs in the ocean and in permafrost, they can metabolize the greenhouse gases. This will help cool the oceans and permafrosts and, in turn, reduce the harmful effects of climate changes on the ocean. Am I correct?
Attention everybody. I have found the world's most understanding boss. Victoria, I couldn't have said the data relevance any better.
Hi Samir. My name is Elizabeth and I'm a scientist studying air quality in the Arctic area. Can you tell me some aspects of mission MFRNT that will be useful for me as a researcher, as well as some of my other scientific colleagues?
The information collected and analyzed will benefit a variety of scientists studying in the fields of air quality, carbon cycle ecosystems, atmospheric composition, and climate variability change specifically in the Arctic. Methane levels and greenhouse gases within the subject of atmospheric composition and change will be emphasized. In addition, NASA will benefit greatly with newer results that are focused more specifically than past missions such as CARV.
This research is really going to stimulate my current research project as well as many of my colleagues at NASA and my lab. Thank you. I'm guessing that since CARV is a past mission, we will be using historical data from CARV to analyze results of the MFRNT mission.
Yes, that is correct. As of November 2014, CARV showed Alaska has no sign of increasing methane. More methane is the result of rising temperatures, a quality Alaska has exhibited recently but does not show signs of rising methane even though it should. Methane is the third most common greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. I'm sure you are very smart and you'll get this joke. I put my root beer in a square cup. Now it's just beer.
Ha, 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 ha. Oh, that is so funny. Hi.
Ni hao.
Now you speak Chinese? You must really like appealing to the masses.
I'm actually in charge of a recent NASA mission called Methane. The frost is the road not taken, and with it I have to make sure everyday society benefits from the results.
Oh, in what ways does the mission benefit society?
By providing more targeted data, NASA and various other scientific organizations can make valuable predictions about our Earth's overall environmental and climate stability for future preparation and reduction of warmer oceans. The general public will also be more well-informed every day about specific issues in the Arctic regarding greenhouse gases and weather and climate change in their local areas.
Amazing. What sectors is information geared towards?
The first sector is health, through attacking rising ocean temperatures that affect daily life around the Arctic and food sources. Another sector is natural resources, where climate affects valuable resources of the Arctic Ocean including sand and gravel aggregates, placer deposits, polymetallic nodules, oil and gas fields, fish, and marine mammals. The last sector is economics, stimulating current industry of one of the largest oil and gas reserves in the world for various countries, especially Russia, the United States, and Canadian areas around the Alaskan area.
I see you sell in those three sectors. But why should taxpayers like myself spend money on it, and what are the real-world concerns?
Great question. How many times have we all heard about climate change in politics and the media? For the last 50 years, the Earth has been undergoing constant change, emphasizing the issues arising with the melting of the northern and southern ice caps and rising ocean temperatures that could seriously hinder resources of the world.
I guess the stakeholders in this mission really benefit a lot?
Yes, I was just explaining this to my colleague Elizabeth, who is an air quality scientist. The perceived beliefs of these stakeholders is that the melting of the permafrost is unstoppable. Methanotrophs are a new and up-and-coming natural means to attack the increase in climate change and temperatures. The priority is so high because climate change is such a controversial issue in terms of how to cope with it.
Climate change may be happening out there, but it's freezing in here. You really know a lot about climate change and global warming. What are some considerations built into this mission from the stakeholders?
As they say, if you meet a woman, start talking about global warming. It's a real icebreaker. Ha 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 ha. Some considerations are this: data can be used for long-term solutions to combat climate change in the future in case methanotrophs do not work. The mission MFRNT can also be used as supplementary data to use past missions such as CARV and SMAP as a comparable set of data to validate trends perceived in the past.
Looks like we finally landed. Good luck with your mission. Bye.
Here we go. Time to lift off this Sherpa aircraft.
3, 2, 1, lift off.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Man, this mission has really worn me out lately. I think I need some free time of my own. As they say, if you live in an igloo, what's the worst thing about global warming? No privacy.